we've done like a group like this in best of threes in less than 2.5 hours before. And so by adding in the best of fives, it kind of creates that little bit of like, it just hits the kind of like the stream length we want the stream to be. Obviously, it kind of depends, obviously, on length of matches, etc. But the other thing is best of fives, 5 best of 5s, are almost always going to be 5+ hours. So we didn't want to do that much. So we've just changed it up a little bit for this tournament format. Again, we were willing to change it today because today we had to start a couple hours later than planned. And so obviously it is late for the Koreans, but they don't really seem to care. And I mean, one of them is about to be eliminated now. Seems like they're happy to try this out in the best of 5. So just before I intro the players, a quick couple of thank yous. Thank you so much to Maestro Mouse for the fresh new subscription. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And also Mellow Yellow with the 500 bits says best of 5 hype. Wardy coming through. It's actually nice. I mean, we'll have some extra games today, which is awesome when we have nice high viewership. Top left-hand side, our red Protoss player is Zest, taking on the blue Zerg. In the bottom right-hand side, Armani, as we do open hatch, gas, and pool. And we look to talk a little bit about PvZ, but really we'll wait to see kind of what Zest wants to do in terms of build order. Zest is one of these players who loves playing Archon drops, etc., so I expect to see some of those on this series. But in a best of 5 especially, you definitely expect him to mix it up a bit too. Potentially a Stargate open or so into Archon drop, maybe a couple, or maybe even one time open into Resonating Glaives or so. What has been interesting in PvZ lately is that everyone's been going into Blink in Korea especially. So we've been seeing a lot of Blink play. So I actually talking to a couple of people the other day. Obviously, Reynolds went to Korea fairly recently to go and play, WCS Global Finals, and he went like a few days before everybody else to train in the team house. Apparently, Reynolds went on the Korean ladder, got to number 1, rank 1 on the Korean Grandmaster ladder very easily, and apparently he just can't lose against the Protoss players because they all keep doing these timings, and Reynolds just like, it doesn't make sense, it doesn't work. But apparently that's the entire meta of PvZ in Korea, and Reynolds just sat there like, no worries, mate. Just winning all my PvZ games, apparently dumpstering them. Now, that might be a little bit biased based on who was telling me these facts and a bit of word of mouth and stuff like that, but in general, apparently the Korean PvZ meta isn't looking great against the European CVP meta at the moment. So it'll be very interesting to see what Classic and Hero come up with when they play him potentially in the BlitzCon groups this week. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see what's going on. Today is War Chest Promotion Day. Yes, that's why we're on the front page, actually, because of the War Chest Promotion. We have got the ability to actually, with the WCS Game Heart mod, ability to set the player's skins. So the skins you see on all of the units from the players today are part of the new War Chest. If you guys don't have the new War Chest yet, still plenty of time to buy it and unlock it. And all the skins you see on the units today are all from the new War Chest, so you can unlock all of those. Like I say, it's the full sets enabled. There's no building skins enabled, but there are, these drones, these lings. These are from the new War Chest, that Queen. Very, very cool. I really like these. I really actually like these Zerg skins. The Simulant Zerg skins are a bit over the top mech heavy for me. They were really cool, but when I see these ones that are like half mech, half Zerg, I think these ones are killer. I really love these, and I think the Protoss looks cool in that green sort of color. I really like this set of War Chest skins. I think I love all 3 sets, so do go and check out the War Chest if you didn't already. Did you see the couple of adepts coming up? So this is a Dark Shrine. This is a faster Dark Templar Archon drop. It's actually a very fast version of this, where you actually only get 3 gateways instead of 4. You do hit a little bit faster with the initial DTs, but obviously your 2 Archons are a little bit slower. The 2 Adepts will be here to try and shade in towards 1 mineral line, while the DTs will go another mineral line. And obviously then you have to be able to respond to that. This was popularized by Stats during Asus ROG this year, and suddenly pretty much every Protoss player suddenly started doing this. Look how easy it is for these Adepts to just boom, target down 2, 3 drones, just like that. And in the meantime, these DTs get fighting. All 3 of those survivors, they hop up into the main base. 3 workers killed, not a bad start at all, and obviously Armani having to find some units to respond to this. This is just going to be seeing the Queen able to push the War Prism away out through to the left-hand side. So War Prism push back to the left, going to drop back down. And again, just The DT is able to pick up some good kills. Honestly, 10 workers is kind of serious here. These last few drone cans have really racked up pretty quickly, so Zest gets a lot of damage done. And this is the whole point of this. You can now warp in with the free gateways, 1 more DT and 2 more Adepts, and so you're actually kind of back at where you were. Obviously now you've only got 2 Archons instead of DTs, but in general, if you want to be aggressive with DTs anyways, this build makes a lot of sense, because the difference between having 4 DTs right away and 3 is really minimal, so it actually makes a lot of sense. Hit that little faster, get in there. I mean, look at this. These Adepts coming back in. 2, 3 drones already down. Damage already racking up over here. So 3 workers, 4 workers killed as obviously the Archons are... Actually, the Archons are hanging back. So it's just these Adepts. I mean, they shade into the main, where they should get 1 more drone here. Even this 1 Adept on his own should be able to finish it. So Zest opens with some very good damage in all of this. It's a job well done so far. And you know, 5 workers on top of the 10 we saw earlier, and this Archon drop is going to go for the Overseer. I mean, he's going to get the Queen as well. What isn't he going to get at this point? Oh my god, now the drones are in some trouble as well. He can drop the Archons on top, and the drones are kind of stacked. Too many roaches, though. The Archon's pretty low on shields. Zest going to play it safe. Behind all of it, 3rd Nexus, Immortal Production, the extra gateways. I mean, that's 9 gateways in total. I mean, honestly, at this point, with so much damage done, you can very realistically, you can see he's still warping in sentries. He's going to attack. There's no 2 ways about it. He's just going to get his Immortal. He's probably going to move out very shortly, actually. 3 Immortals, 4th one will wander across the map to join in. I mean, with all of those gateways finishing soon, it's just the time for Zest to get aggressive. There's no reason not to. When you've dealt this much damage to the Zerg early game, they are thrown so far off of their economy setup, it's only going to go badly for them. It really is just going to go badly for them if they have to defend you. I mean, at the very least, you should be able to find a decent fight. And if you find a decent fight where you trade well, the Zerg's going to be on a lower drone count than they'd like to be. So here we go, Zest. I mean, in fairness, Zest is making cuts as well. You don't see a, upgrade from the Twilight Council. You don't see a Forge being added into play. So he is making some cuts to his own build order. Only 57 probes too, which could obviously still be increasing. As that's a really good set of force fields here in Zest. He is going to be capitalizing on that a little bit. Warp Prism will set up to warp in another round of Zards. Awesome. I mean, obviously it gets a little bit tough when you want to warp in with that Prism and the Ravagers are around, because the Files can one-shot Prism down if you're not careful. But again, this looks like it's going to be too much. These drones already running away. You can see this DT is dealing some damage. Actually, I'm not sure what happened in the main for the drones to have pulled away from there, so that's something we just missed. But either way, I don't think it's going to matter too much, although Zest does lose the Prism. A couple extra roaches coming in from this right-hand side. And he's killed 23 workers. On top of the damage he did earlier as well, remember, it doesn't matter. He's going to clean this up. Even if his army got cleaned up there, I just got past my obsession, and when I wasn't playing it obsessively, I just didn't want to play it, So yeah, I haven't played WoW Classic for a little while. I really enjoyed playing it, and I actually think I will go back at some point when I have some free time. But I just had to go and focus a bit more on the stream and doing YouTube stuff and so on, so I decided to give it a quit for a while. Which is okay, it's okay to have some control in your life sometimes. Top left-hand side, Blue Zerg player. It is Armani. And the bottom right, our Red Protoss player, Ocean Gaming's Zest. Found that too, unless I was obsessed and didn't want to play. I'm very much like this. Like, I feel like it's very hard for me to play a game casually. Obviously, games like World of Warcraft are very easy to kind of then play very hardcore and just to play, never stop, right? But pretty much anything I play, like, I feel it really difficult just to be like, oh, I'm going to play an hour of this right now. No, if I sit down and play a game, I want to play like a good few hours, and yeah, I get very competitive and stuff as well, so that definitely has something of a role to play in it on top of the rest. So yeah, I'm jumping into game number 2 of this PvZ, of course, and we will just see a pretty slow opener once again. I mean, I say slow, it's not really slow as much as it's just normal and regular, and there isn't really much to point out because there isn't really that much going on just yet. Cybernetic Core will drop down in the wall off, and this Overlord is heading down to the bottom right-hand side. So you get a little bit of scouting. So one thing that is worth mentioning is this wall-off choice. You have 2 wall-off choices on Thunderbird. The typical normal wall-off, which is just wall off here, you wall off your natural. Or the larger wall-off, which will not only wall off the natural, but we'll also wall off access to this third base over here. So it's obviously that sort of scenario where you're kind of like, well, what do I want to do? There is mostly just benefits to walling off across here because it means you just save across 3 bases. You can take your third earlier than usual. However, on the other side of that, this is very exposed if there's some kind of link flood or early aggression. The opening is larger for longer, and so that definitely does hurt a little bit as well. So there's a couple little kind of backs and forths. Obviously, in a game like this, when Pneumatized Carapace comes up before Ling Speed, that's going Stargate, by the way, which is Overlord we'll see soon enough. In a game like this, there's no risk to kind of taking the wall off like this at all, and you won't actually do anything that's going to really be substantially kind of like deadly or so. So it should just be all good. So yeah, here we are, and just getting ourselves in a position where we can see this Adept running around. A little bit of damage being dealt here and there. Nothing super crazy. Just again, applying some pressure, running around with the Adept Shade. Link Speed coming up on the spawning pool. Spore Crawlers will go down in the mineral lines. So those get set to go, and the Adept will deal some damage here too. A couple of things here and there. Really just waiting for this Oracle play to get started, and there is Oracle number 1 making its way up in towards the main in the next couple moments even. So Oracle showing up, but again, won't really last too long. We'll get turned away pretty quick. And back over here it will come. Two more Oracles actually on the way out here from Zest, so they're going to go up to the top side, and together they will join up and try and dive by some Wiggers. Didn't build a Phoenix here. I mean, has a Stalker to deny the Overlord, despite the Overlord speed. We'll get that. It's been good continued scouting from Armani as Zest just throws down the Robo Twilight Council follow-up. You can see that both of those were scouted. Oh, sorry, I don't know where the Robo was, I guess, in the natural wall-off, which means it was scouted as well. I mean, as the third Nexus comes in, what Zest is going to do is going to drop a Templar Archives, go into an Archon drop. Obviously, it's a little bit later than the last game. This is why you actually only do this with 2 Oracles or 2 Stargate units, because you kind of want to get into the Templar Archives ASAP. If you go into, like, Phoenix Oracle, it delays the Robo and the Twilight, which delays the Archon drop to the point where it's kind of not really that useful. And with Triple Oracle as well, you don't typically go into a Archon drop follow-up either for the same reason. 3 Stargate units is just too expensive to then have a reasonable Archon timing. You may as well just kind of skip the Archon drop altogether, in which case you build up Immortals initially and you just take the game a little bit slower in general. This one Oracle is back around, and 3 kills in total on the Oracles means Armani has defended well throughout the early stages of this. The Evolution Chamber drops down in the forward wall off, and we'll see the Forge is about to complete in a moment or two. Probes chrono boosting out of the Nexus, and just going to be seeing the Oracles activating their Pulsar Beam to pick away at a few Zerglings here. The High Templar, oh, he loses one of them. It's a shame for Zest losing the High Templar there. Those are meant to be the Archons, right? So that already is going to delay the Archon drop a little bit from where it's meant to be, because obviously you just used all 4 Warpins, so the gateways are on cooldown. You can't just add the extra High Templar in out of nowhere. So that's a really nice little pick-off already from Armani. Does a good job of that. Great time to just dive on in. There's 4 more gates drop in from Zest, but remember, he's already on 2 bases, 60+ probes. Second Robo Facility as well just shows us he's ready to build up into a good high Immortal count, especially against what is currently a very high Roach count. And the Infestation Pit is going to be a sign that we're going to see Swarm Host Night Display out of Armani. And as we see Swarm Host Night Display build up, it's going to become very important for Zest to be well presented on the map, well positioned to deal with those drops and Locusts, and just make sure he's got the Archons to deal with the kind of splash the Locust down. But not just that, also making sure you've got the Immortals to then kind of buffer and to tank a lot of shots too. The Warp Prism Micro actually becomes very important in these kind of scenarios, because it's the Warp Prism Micro that really makes it so that you just don't take as much, you don't lose as much to the Locust every time. That goes a long way. I love the little things, though, from Zest. You know, Micro and these two Oracles gets a queen kill over here. At the same time, a few moments ago, I highlighted the Observer. It saw the Overseer coming, and so it unsieged and moved back, making sure it wasn't in range to be picked off at all. Really nice little plays from Zest. It's the little things that are really adding up at the moment for Zest, and just making him look like he's really in control of this. Typical Zest sort of bank there, though. Some money stacking up when instead he should be spending it. He does opt for Storm. That's obviously a huge helping hand against those Swarm Host Locusts as well. Any sort of splash damage helps to just clean those out nice and quickly. Thank a couple of Twitch Prime subs coming in. Bobo Bag of Barnyard for the 3 months. Thank you so much. Welcome back. And Shactus coming in with the Twitch Prime, a fresh new subscriber. Thank you so much for that as well. I really do appreciate the subs, guys. We're sticking above the 500 sub count at the moment, which is amazing. That's we're exactly where we want to be with the stream. Just staying above 500. As long as we can stay there, we're a very happy streamer. And we'll keep on putting out StarCraft for you guys. Rich Ravager. He's continuing to pick away at these rocks, which will be knocked down. So the rocks on the right go down. A couple extra gates and Immortals on the way out. Charge and Storm on the way in. The Oracle flying around on the right as the other Oracles on the bottom. Actually finding the Swarm Hosts here. The Nidus was denied and actually did have to pop the Locust to be able to defend. Oh, that's a really bad setup for Armani. As these Archons looking forward. Swarm Host kill doesn't get it. There's actually a really unfortunate setup for Armani. I mean, I think the Archons were there to help defend as well, and by forcing the Nidus, forcing the Swarm Hosts to pop their Locusts, it unsyncs them from the rest of the Swarm Hosts. That means the first wave of Locusts weren't used aggressively at all. Look at that, by the way. It was only that one High Templar that's being killed, and that's all that's been killed so far this game, plus a couple of cancels here and there. Resources lost is really in favor of Zest. That should change now as these Swarm Hosts come in for some damage, although there's the first couple of Storms. What actually dies here? Well, an Archon gets nuked. That's kind of about it. Loses the Robo Facility. So an Archon and an Immortal. A couple of probes going down as some Serpents find their way through. Yeah, losing the Robo is kind of a big deal, you know? You don't want to be losing that Robo Facility. And you know he's got two, but there's a reason he built two. He wants both of them. Immortals over here. Trying to shut down the Niduses as you see Zest making a play out the front, clean up the Nidus here. Systematic and slow way of dealing with this so far. It's actually very nice because he knows the Swarm Hosts are stuck in the Nidus, so he knows he can push forwards into the Roach Ravager. Because so much of the supply is in the Swarm Hosts, if those are in the Nidus and not present, obviously it gives you a good chance to move forwards into attack. That's really good from Armani, though. He finds multiple High Templar with energy on them. This fight's going very good for Armani. Gets himself some Immortals there too. Zest building a bunch of defense on the left-hand side, so you can worry less about that position. That was a really good set of pickoffs from Armani. Really getting a lot done as Zest was distracted elsewhere, and well, Zest will continue to chase forwards now. Remember, without the Swarm Hosts here, a lot of the army supply is missing for the Zerg player, so it makes what looks, it makes a fight that looks like it shouldn't be really, even if you just look at supplies. It makes it really work out, actually, for Zest, more than you're thinking. As you can see, there's the Locust. This is where Zest has to back away. No? Okay. Nice split. Some of the Swarm Hosts go to the third, some of them come to help the army. These Locusts that do come out towards the third base are going to go diving for the Nexus. They won't get it, but no shields left on it. Obviously does make it pretty vulnerable here as Zest will turn to fight on the natural expansion wall off. More Ravagers coming up this ramp. Two more Immortals being made from Zest in the production as we see the Great Aspire dropping in from Armani. So getting that Great Aspire up and rolling. Give himself the Brood Wars as you see a Fleet Beacon second Stargate coming down. Storm to kill the Ravager there, and fourth Nexus attempt from Zest being shut down as well. And this momentum from Armani, the aggression he's able to apply, it's going very well for him here so far. Another Storm drops down. Roach is taking a lot of damage. Archons dropping in. The Immortals having a micro backwards here, and Armani kills two fresh Archons. Can't micro those back while they're still morphing in, so Armani is really just knocking on the front door of Zest, and I don't think Zest has much defense left in him anymore. It really feels like it comes down to the few units you lose here, the few units you lost elsewhere unnecessarily. Those are the kind of fights in the unit trade-offs that you can't really afford to have happen at all, actually. See the Roach Ravager comes back up this ramp again to say hello. See what's happening. Immortals will be there to turn the Roach Ravager away pretty swiftly. More Swarmers will come pouring out of the Nidus in the front. Mortals will lift, and again, Swarmers Locust just still pressing forwards. Well, this time the Roach Ravager doesn't try to fight with the Locust, so it's not as effective. And Zest is being allowed to stabilize a little bit, but here's the issue, they Broodlords. Now Zest was somewhat preparing for that by building the Stargate and the Fleet Beacon. Let's see if he can actually do anything with it, as all of these forward Niduses are going to get taken down. Now, Broodlord's actually right there. He needs, I don't think he saw them, he needs, I mean, he doesn't have any anti-air anyways. He needs to go into, like, I mean, he goes starts Blink, but, I mean, he's got the Stargates, he needs to build Tempests. And the problem is, if you only build a couple of Tempests, what are you actually going to achieve? This Hero Archon is trying to get the job done, and in fairness, Hero Archon is getting very close. He kills the Broodlord. Oh my god. Hero Archon has actually just killed a Broodlord. I didn't think that was even going to be possible. Well, here we go. The Locusts are heading towards the Natural. They could just die for the Nexus. I'm going to go for that Immortal Archon, which isn't bad. The Archon Micro from Zest saves them low HP. And the Broodlord count is hurting a little bit. Obviously now Corruptors on the way out will start to be kind of a stopping force to all of this, but this is actually a really serious issue. These Archons are still microing, and the last couple of Broodlords are going to start taking a lot of damage as well here. I mean, these Immortals are just pricking their way through Broodlings before they even go down. Look at the Archons go! What is this control from Zest? Oh my god! In an almost unwinnable position, Zest is going to defend the Broodlords with 2 Archons. I think we might have just seen some of the most amazing anti-Broodlord micro I've ever witnessed. How do you kill 8 Broodlords with 1 Archon? Oh my god. That control was insane. What was most insane was the fact he did this while the Broodlords had Roach Ravager underneath it. That was actually crazy, as now the Corruptors show up, and now the Tempests are in trouble, and so Zest may still be in some trouble himself overall. Now, losing the Tempest is obviously really a shame. He only has that 1 Archon, and Zest will type out GG. I almost feel like giving him the win anyways, just for that. Tied up 1-1 in this best-of-5 elimination match. One of these players is going to be turning off StarCraft 2 and going to bed after this series. The other will be waiting around for the TVT between Euthermal and Clem to play. And then, of course, that decider match will be set up. And it's kind of nice. I kind of like the way these matches have gone. We had really great initial matches. This series between Zest and Armani is going amazingly. Couldn't ask for more. Thank you so much, everybody, tuning in today. If you're new to the stream, I know a lot of you will be. Do consider hitting that follow button. See when we go live again in the future with more StarCraft 2 action. I cast StarCraft most days here on the channel, although I will be away from the end of October until about the 7th or 8th of November. I'm going to be going to BlizzCon, obviously, and I'll be, as I'm going to BlizzCon, I'm taking a few days vacation. Don't fancy flying 11 hours just to come back after the weekend, so I'm going a few days ahead of time, and I'll be back a few days after BlizzCon. And once we come back in November, if you've been on the stream, if this is not your first year on the stream, then you kind of know November and December are crazy months for us. But if you're not, if you are new to the stream, if you only just started watching WardiTV in 2019, maybe you don't know, but in November and December, we turn it up to, 11 on the speed dial. Like, we put out so much StarCraft, it's, like, ridiculous. Even I can't keep up with it. We'll be casting pretty much every single day in December, apart from, I believe, 1 or 2 days. We'll have coverage, StarCraft coverage for you guys on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve. We got you guys covered over the entire holiday period. WardiTV Team League, WardiTV Christmas Invitational. 2019 has left the game. Extra events, invitationals, Christmas showdowns. We've got it all. So if you're looking for more StarCraft, we've got it right here. We're going to keep you guys entertained until 2020, pretty much. And of course, last little bit of advertising I'm going to do just quickly. I'm going to say, if you guys want to check out more StarCraft, the YouTube channel, we upload once a day over there. Sometimes YouTube exclusive, sometimes just the best games we've had on the stream. Do check that out as well. !YT in the chat will give you the link. And we're pushing towards 10,000 YouTube subscribers, which will be awesome. Will the balloons be back for Christmas? Balloons will be back for my birthday at the start of January. we kind of carry on the Christmas momentum into January as well. We will have the Christmas tree back for December, though. Don't worry. And the decorations, the baubles, they'll be back. So game 3 of this series, as we'll start talking about some StarCraft now, 3 minutes in. Thanks for listening to my sponsor reels. We do have a Dark Shrine setting up, so he's going to go back to that Archon drop. To be fair, I mean, can you blame the guy? It went so well for him in game number 1. He just killed Armani with pure harassment in the early stages. Well, Prism is going to be chrono boosting out of the Robos. Again, that up and running here. A few Zerglings, a couple of Queens on the way out. Link speed starting as well. Just getting that rolling. These 2 Queens out the front, and the 3rd hatch will finish as this Queen can go injecting away that. Where is Armani from? He's from Korea. He is from Korea. He's very... He's been around for a very long time, actually, and he's one of the players that's very interesting to follow. He's really one of the up-and-coming Korean players, almost. He almost has been forever, but it's he's one of these players to absolutely kind of watch out for as some more spaces open up in GSL, with players going to the military, etc. This game, Feelings trying to approach the front will not do a lot. The Adept shades back 2 HP. Wow, what a timing. And that one Adept missing from this means that we're not going to have that double Adept combo we were talking about previously. This DT is going to lift up pretty quick, and that's just going to get out of there. So already the initial damage here is not quite as heavy as we saw before. Hey, that's kind of bad. The DTs are going to try and run away. If they get out of Spore range, if they get out of Spore range, they're going to be able to survive. War Prism shot down. Zest misjudged it. He loses the Prism, and that means, well, again, no Lair, no Overseer. The DTs are safe, but it really delays the Archon play, which just lets the Zerg be greedier for that little while longer. Greybeard Loon, thank you so much for the 22-month resub. Much appreciated. You see Zerglings at the front will not do much, and Nice Force was actually to trap a few of the main DTs, getting some shots as well. Job well done. I also had a sub coming in during the break that I didn't mention. Rovik714 for 2 months. Says, love the content, Wardy, and keep making the great work. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting. And I will make sure to keep on bringing you guys some great StarCraft. Armani's one of the newer Koreans if you compare him to the others. Well, it's kind of weird because Armani's actually like a really old school Korean. Just, he never was really like super well known. And he went to do his military service already, I believe, and came back. And so now went to do his military, came back already, and so just kind of back and has been playing again this year since then. So, all of Archon is going to lift it up. As you see, the 3rd expansion dropping down from Zest in the front. Archon's going after a couple of Queens. Zergling's coming in, but they're going to get turned around pretty quickly. Archon's still finding decent damage. Oh my god, the War Prism is so close to going down. And a Hydralisk mixed in there as well. We see Armani going up in towards the Lingbane Hydra composition. I love this DT. Just skips to the side, recalls. Now that's so frustrating actually, because it's just the sort of harassment that's just, you get a couple of kills, you keep the DT alive, it's just efficient. And it's so frustrating for Armani to have to go and deal with that as well. To then not be able to get rid of it is, well, again, like I was mentioning, his Lingbane Hydra setup coming through. He's only on 54 drones and seems to be kind of done with droning, which means that he might just go for a big Lingbane Hydra time, which I would generally suggest is kind of visible as well by the fact he just didn't build an Evo Chamber or an upgrade. He got an Evo Chamber, he just doesn't have any upgrades coming in. And I think that's very kind of indicative of an all-in kind of focused attack. But actually, I mean, he's starting up a Spine Crawler, so it's almost like he's just building units defensively, and maybe he is. Maybe he's just afraid of Zest, but it's allowed Zest to catch up. 55 workers to 51. Lurkaden will drop down. +1 melee will cancel into missiles because he's going to play Lurkers. So it's not so much about Lingbane Hydra where melee upgrade rules. It's going to be about those Lurkers and Hydras. And at that point, the missile upgrade is absolutely the better chat you want to get going. Feeling is coming back down. Bottom left-hand side, joining with the Hydralisks here, and it looks as though we're going to have these units pushing out the front very soon. So that's a DT from Zest on the bottom, as we do see the Warp Prism heading in toward the main base. So Armani playing very slow. Piranha Snacks in the chat. Why no 4th base from Armani? Well, first of all, these odds going to get massacred. Prism in the main. It might just be a case of 4th base is something he's not really... He's kind of tacking up quite heavily into those lurkers, so maybe he wants to sit back on 3. Not sure, actually. It might just be the damage he's sort of taken. This is just... I mean, Zest has just picked him apart here. This is actually crazy. Because a bunch of drones on the left. The entire main base is going to die. Armani just isn't responding to that main base attack. Looks as though he's... I mean, maybe he just thought it was already too late. He's just going to give it up, but he's not doing anything over here because of the force fields, and the Archons are going to be able to get rid of the 3rd as well. I mean, this is crazy amounts of damages. It feels as though Zest just hit that little few moments before the Lurkers came into play, and pretty much ends this with pure Zealot Archon. Zest stopped building probes now, and he also has no Forge down for +1 attack or anything. A few more Zerglings running in. Those are going to get cleaned out. A couple Archons underneath. The Overlords are doing okay. The Zealots are, I mean, swiping up the natural, right? So this is pretty much done for. The only thing that's saving the day right now is that one Lurker, but it's not going to do enough damage. Zest is going to be able to take... for being a nobody, you're kind of funny, you know?
Game paused.
You guys see me on there? If you guys could, someone takes a screenshot or something, that'd be pretty cool. I'd appreciate it. I don't even know what photo they're using. Like, do they just have like a Wardy folder they've got saved somewhere? God, I don't have a Wardy folder. Looks as though we're gonna get this pause resumed sorted out pretty quickly there, and we can jump back in. They don't want me to see myself in the big leagues. Yeah, they don't want me to know that I've made it. They want me to keep on grinding, apparently. Alright, so. As you set up into. Can't post links, so else I'd show you. Well, I feel like it depends how long you've watched the stream for. I think the Wardy bot only blocks links if you're very new to the stream, actually. So if you have a few hours on the stream, then you can send links. Thanks for all the kind words in the chat today as well, guys. I know you, there's a lot of people being very nice and saying a lot of nice things. Appreciate it. Oh, it's that photo. I must have sent them that at some stage then. That's actually a pretty cool photo because, you know, it's got my WardiTV shirt on, so it's like, hey, what's up? I'm Wardy. Kind of, you know, 2-in-1 really with the logo. I feel like they picked the worst photo out of the ones I probably sent them, though. Feels bad, man. Alright. This game number 4 of this ZVP is just getting going. We're kind of... I would always say at this sort of stage of the game, you're kind of waiting to see what Zest wants to do. Like, unless Armani chooses to Link Flood or go for like a super aggro Roach attack, it's typically the Protoss player that sort of shows us where the first 5-6 minutes of the game will go. For the most part here, so... Looking out for that at the moment. See where this is going to go. Pretty sure it does the job well, don't worry too much. I'm not worrying, I just think I look a bit chubby, you know. It's okay. I'm just being self-conscious over here. It's alright. I'll get through. I'll survive. Twilight Council starts up from Zest in the main base, so gets that underway as the third hatchery from Armani. Dropping down. Over on the right-hand side, you're going to see a couple probes coming down to the low ground, and as Zergling speed starts up from Armani, we are going to be seeing just Zest playing an Archon drop yet again, unless he goes for the big switch up and plays Glaives. Probe facility would kind of suggest that will not be happening, though. Feels bad, man. Someday, sometime, we'll get there. We'll see Glaives again. Yeah, Glaives is kind of a rare one, to be fair. Just doesn't make no sense to build Glaives all the time. I've hurt my throat shouting about that Archon Broodlord micro. Ugh. Give us some water. Water in your throat is the best thing you can do for it, guys. Alright, gates on the way up as the Warp Prism is going to Corona Boost out of the Robo facility. Wolflord heading down the right side in towards the main base in the next couple of moments, and a couple of Zerglings will be heading up the right. See where they can go. So that's just Archon drops every game in PvZ. Well, he did open with the... Well, a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to say, obviously, he opened with the Stargate in game number 2. But he's also done a different kind of Archon drop a couple of times now. He's gone for a couple of different versions where, you know, this game, he's gone up to 4 gates, whereas in games number 1 and 3, he actually only went into 3 gateways. So it's a difference of timing. And it does play out a little bit differently. So while the idea is the same, the nuances are definitely different. So it's worth keeping in mind. We'll see if he actually even gets aggressive with the DTs this time. I would imagine he might just warp the DTs in and morph them straight into Archons. He has the Adepts here, which can push back those Zerglings. Oh, he is going to go forwards with the DTs this time as well. That's a Creep Tumor at the start. Actually kills the Queen pretty quickly there. And the Overseer is on the way up as well. So, oh no, he runs the Prism around. Oh my god, Zest, what was that? I'm not sure what he was microing at the same time, but that's obviously a disaster. Instantly, oh my god. Instantly 14 drones from... It's like, Hannah, I could count to 10 when I was in Korea. If I saw it, I could probably do it again, but... Yeah. I really wanted to put some more time into learning Korean properly. Being so involved in StarCraft and stuff, but... It's one of those things where I find time for like a week, and then I forget, then I lose time for it, and so it just doesn't go anywhere, you know? I mostly know like a couple of words and stuff as well. So yeah, going into this game 5, I decided match. We even have Latin being dropped down in the chat. Aye, aye, aye. See, I learned Latin in school. And it was one of those subjects where you could really like you really learned like I could try to think of one of the ones I could recite in Latin. There was like a few of the protums. What can I do? Some of the Catullus poems, I think. I used to be able to say. That's crazy. Like, I'm trying to think. There's one which is like, I hate and I love. Like, Odi et amo, curare et faciem fortasse recruris. I forgot the words, but it's basically like, I hate and I love. Why I do this, maybe you ask. I do not know, but I feel it happens to me, and it tortures me. Oh, I am tortured. And it's, and this 2-line poem, you have to write like a multi-word like a multi-paragraph essay on it, and I'm just like, dude's just like gone crazy. He's just like ranting on at himself, and my Latin teacher's like, and it's amazing, he surrounds these words with the other words, so it gives you this feeling of the torture enveloping him, and I'm just like, well, does it though? Does it though? Really? I'm not convinced. I wasn't convinced. I was very good at it though, because in my eyes it was just bullshitting about what was happening in the words, and I'm pretty good at bullshitting, so worked out okay. I'm trying to think what other poems I did. We did like 10 poems or something. We had to know them and stuff. Crazy. There's some weird ones as well. Some like... Yeah, I'm not gonna go into anymore. Let's talk StarCraft. Alright. The Dark Shrine dropping down. So you can see the difference here in this game. Yes, it's an Archon drop again, but this time it's back to that 3-gate Archon drop. So just a little bit of a change up, hits that a little faster and so on. And as we do see the Overlord hanging out into the main base, moving in there to see what's going on. 10 Zergling is going to be finishing up as Zergling's speed is about to complete. Latin is very, very weird. Latin's very useful, though. Like, Latin's one of those things that you don't actually realize is useful until you kind of realize you know something because of Latin, you know? It's pretty interesting. Anyways, Pylon dropping down here. There's a Devil Shade back. We've seen this attack before back on World of Sleepers. A similar idea. Armani hits with the Lings just to see what's up. The 2 Adepts will go across the map, though. So it was 3 Adepts this time from Zest. And he'll go across the map to warp in the DTs along with this. So we'll see if he can... I mean, basically, this has just been a test from from Zest to see if Armani is capable of, you know, starting to defend against this multi-pronged pressure. So the 2 Adepts going to shade in toward the natural expansion here. And the DT is wandering forwards, and the Queen is already going to be taken down. Ooh, this is a Dark Templar, though, which is not really worthwhile. The Adepts get found as well, and the Prism is on its way to try and save them, but just took the turn a little bit too late. So unfortunately, the Prism will not get there. The Adepts will fall. I mean, Zest is still up a couple workers. I mean, now a big round of drones starts, and DT on the map will turn those Lings away, and a Spire drops down. So that's the first real change that we've really seen from Armani. To really get like super aggressive. He obviously generally is a fairly popular in PvZ as a way to change the matchup up a little bit, make it go a bit differently to how you expect. But yeah, just going to be going into this time the Spire red way, and it's a very fast Spire too, right? Like he hasn't even messed around with roaches or anything, so it's kind of like you don't really see Spires this quickly at all. Prism loads up Archon number 1. Archon 2 is about to finish up as well. So the Archon's finally going to morph in and finally go into the main. I mean, this is dream scenario for Archons, though. They're fighting against a Zergling-based army with no roaches. I mean, it's where the Archons are meant to shine because these Lings are not meant to be able to deal with the Archons efficiently. The only reason this is pushed back is because the Queen's got on top of the Prism. And I think you can see that Zest is realizing some opportunity here. I mean, he's bringing units across the map. He's getting aggressive anyways. 7 meters on the way up. That's a really good time for Zest to decide to fight because Armani doesn't really have a fighting army at the moment. So Zest, warping in units to get aggressive. This looks very good for him. 7 meters against 3 Archons shouldn't have the greatest of time. It depends if he can kill these Archons kind of with the Zerglings or so. One of the Archons fighting a Smoke Roll in the back. The Warp Prism goes running away. Multiple spines being built as meters are going to start showing up again. Archons, I mean, the army of Zest is just everywhere. There's Lings across the map which have killed the Cybernetics core. And units will warp in defensively back at home. And Zest will charge in to try and deny these Spine Crawlers. We do still have all 3 Archons here, so as these meters go across the map, no Cyber Core means no Stalker warp-ins. So you can only build Archons defensively against those Mutalisks. I mean, Zest is going to start doing so much here in the natural, though. You can see those drones being pulled in. Oh my god, no! Oh my god, there was so many drones here. The drones from the 3rd base pulled in here a while ago. Well, that's the fastest 38 drones I've ever seen die. Is Ling Muta on the counter? I mean, it's going to do okay, but eventually you just recall into the main, right? I mean, there's 2 Archons already here. I think Zest takes this down. The Spore Crawler will drop, and this Overlord gets targeted down. The Spire still taking some damage. You'll see the Mutas coming into the natural expansion there. I mean, they're going to get rid of the natural, but obviously he's going to lose his own main base. In a base trade scenario, there's a hatchery in the top. I mean, I just don't believe you win in a base trade because the Archons are back at home and you can't actually kill these Archons. Like, the Mutas just don't kill them, especially if you've got the Warp Prism to micro it as well. So I don't think you should ever really be able to get the kills here. You can see the Mutas kind of dive in. They get one of the Archons, but Armani will admit defeat. GG's. Zest will